You mustn't run away.
You're looking at the most advanced weapon system ever developed by man.
You must confront your father.
Either we stop that ancient,
I mustn't run away.
The synthetic humanoid Evangelion.
And you must confront yourself.
or humanity's future ends here.
This is Unit 1.
Vice Command, we confirm the target is coming online.
Understood. All personnel to battle stations. Condition 1.
Terminal signal plug. Injecting now.
Injection confirmed. Inserting entry plug.
Psychological contamination is within the standard range. Now flooding entry plug. Wait, what is this?
Just relax. Once your lungs are filled with the LCL, it'll allow your blood to be oxygenated directly.
We are go for launch!
I mustn't run away.
Ikari, are you sure this was the right thing to do?
Retracting umbilical bridge. Disengage lockbolt.
Release confirmed. Current status. Unit 1 is free.
Internal batteries fully charged.
I mustn't run away.
Transfer Ava Unit 1 to the launch pad. Launch it!
I mustn't run away.
I mustn't run away! Fine, I'll do it. I'll be your pilot. Ready, Shinji?
That's tomorrow, and that is it for us today. And we will leave you with a... I can't do it. We'll do it live.
Okay. No.
We'll do it live. Fuck it. Do it live. I'll write it, and we'll do it live. Thing sucks.
Welcome to episode 178 of Gundam at MAHQ, to both our listeners in the live stream and those who are listening to the archived podcast after the fact. I am one of your hosts, Chris Guanche, and I'm joined by Soulbro.
What is happening, everybody? Good evening.
So, Soulbro, going to jump right into the news, the Larry King Memorial News Desk, but we have a special guest to help us out with that, don't we?
We do indeed, man. I'd like to, if you guys have never met him before, he hails from the the Mech Talks podcast, which you also can find on the Gundam feed on occasion. Oh, I'd like to introduce Fred Rex, double O, man. Fred, welcome to the news segment. How you doing tonight, sir?
I'm doing good. My name's Fred, and like Sobro says, I do a very unfunny and very unprofessional podcast.
What?
Called Mech Talks.
So unfunny. I'm lying. I'm lying. Yeah, you guys do a great job, you and Matt, man. If anything, I love you guys' show, man. And thanks for having me on a couple months ago, man. It was really cool. And I figured, have you on because a lot of news hit this week, and I know a guy who would be interested in some of these news stories and have a lot to contribute. So we network some things. But back to you, Chris. Back to you.
You guys never had me on.
Oops.
We're getting there. Damn it.
Mm-hmm.
Whenever they eke out another episode.
Well, I mean, we recorded another episode, which, by the way, is pretty much us talking about shit posting on 4chan.
Of course.
And I was gonna do it like 2 weeks ago, but fuck responsibility.
Yeah.
So.
There you go. That seems to be the slogan nowadays. I know what that's like, being in the dark and no Gundam for months. That was all on me. But anyway, back to you, Chris.
So why don't we lead off with the news that Fred is here to talk with us about?
Sweet. Well, if anything, let's get to that news story then. And the first news story, well, Chris, if you like, you can go ahead and read it off, the first news story, and then I guess Fred will jump in with his opinions.
And this one comes via regular contributor Yahtzee from the Anime News Network. Super Robot Wars, is this 5 or V?
V.
V. For the PS4 and the Vita is announced during the Nico live stream event. And it's going to be released in Asia with English, Chinese, and Korean. So this is part of the 25th anniversary celebration and is tossing in some new series, including Hathaway's Flash, Crossbone Gundam Skullheart, Crossbone Gundam Steel 7, which totally means that those are all being turned into OVAs, guys.
Oh boy.
It does.
I mean, it's just confirmed right now.
As promised. It's only a matter of time.
Yep. Brave Express Might Gain, Shin Mazinger Zero versus Great General of Darkness,
Fuck yeah.
Yamato 2199, and Cross Ange.
Oh, Lord.
Obviously the best show on this list.
Clearly. And returning series include Zambot 3, Daitarn 3, Zeta Gundam, Double Zeta, Char's Counterattack, of course.
Of course.
Crossbone, Destiny, Awakening of something, some Trailblazer, I don't know, maybe.
Will you ever wake up?
Unicorn, Desco Movie, Get a Robo Armageddon, Mazinger Edition C, The Impact, Full Metal Panic, and Evangelion 1, 2, and 3.0.
There's a lot of
one that doesn't exist.
There's a lot of knots in there. You cannot, you definitely cannot, and we will not see a part 4 for a while.
Jesus. Shut your mouth, it's happening.
Oh man, we'll see.
Thanks to that dirty Godzilla, you know.
Oh,
I swear to God.
Dirty lizard.
There's a line we don't cross tonight, please.
But yo, Fred, what are your thoughts on this? Because I know you play this series pretty extensively when the new ones come out, man. You pretty hyped for the English version for this?
Yeah, well, most of the time I import the Japanese version. I mean, these games are pretty shit, so I buy them and play them. No, I'm kidding. I'm probably gonna just import the Japanese version before the English version, maybe if the English is good. But yeah, it's awesome that these new series, like a lot of these new series they're getting included are stuff like we never thought would get included, like fucking Yamato, Space Battleship Yamato in a Super Robot Wars game, like. When somebody would make like a parody or like a April Fool's version, this would always like appear. Like this is one of the series that was like, oh yeah, this is totally in a mainline Super Robot Wars game, and now it's a thing. But yeah, it's awesome too that we're getting like Crossbone is coming back finally since God knows it hasn't been in a game since Alpha 2, and Double Zeta, which wow, that's awesome that Judah's voice actor is kind of well enough to re-record lines, but we don't know that for sure, but I have a feeling that's it.
Yeah, last time I remember talking to you about it, his voice actor has problems with the screaming and all the youthful exuberance that character requires. He's not able to keep up with it anymore, but it looks like he's doused a bunch of honey and he's going in.
It's like doing that voice that he always does in the hot-blooded screaming that he does, like he's practically dead. It's like Strongheim's voice actor. Like you can't scream like that for long without shaving years off your life.
Yeah. It's a lot of work, man. It's a lot of work. But yeah, man, I'm just hyped that this game's in English, man. Or it's gonna be in English. I might actually import this because I haven't really played a Super Robot Wars game since the PlayStation 1 when it came to Super Robot Wars Alpha Gaiden. the one with Turn A Gundam's first appearance. That was the last one I played. I always wanted to get back into them, but it's like, man, it's a lot of Japanese to sift through, and there's always a point in the game where I get stuck, and a lot of times the game facts at the time never would get caught up to the point where I was, so I'd be able to fake my way through it. So yeah, it was always a little tough, man. But you guys have a thicker skin than I do when it comes to that. You can make it all the way through the end of the game. I guess nowadays the resources are better when it comes to like finding out how to get through certain parts.
Well, there is the Methods Network, which has translated various games like Alpha Gaiden, so
that's true.
That.
That's true. And if anything, I could go back and revisit it now that people have gone through the trouble of translating it. But to finally have an official release, I can actually import this and get caught up and play a lot of the different crossover moments that I've only heard about through other people. It's pretty dope, man. I'm pretty excited about that. So, but Chris, any thoughts, sir?
I mean, it's cool that finally this is happening and we're getting some non-OG releases with English on them, because it's never going to happen that these games will be released domestically, so this is the best workaround of, hey, yeah, here's an Asian version that has English on it, so knock yourself out.
Even if the English is rough, I'm fine with that. If anything, I'm pretty pumped to see how that plays out, and I'll have to pre-order I have to pre-order it not on the Methods Network, but pre-order it legitimately, man.
The real network.
The real network. Who knew?
The Play Asia Network.
The Play Asia Network.
Or maybe somebody will gift it to you.
No, no, don't do that.
I can't. Who said me? No.
Why make assumptions, slow bro?
What's that?
Why are you making assumptions?
Hey, man, that's right. I'm making an ass out of myself, as usual. But back to you, Chris.
So, moving on, our next tidbit here is Super Robot Wars X Omega to feature Shin Godzilla versus Evangelion event.
Ooh.
This is via Autumn 4 and Gwyn Campbell.
Mm-hmm.
And what we know on this, no articles as of yet, but the official website of Super Robot Wars X Omega is currently dropping unavoidable hints that Shin Godzilla from the new movie of the same name will be making a guest appearance in this mobile game. And there's a little data mining of an image, and that sure looks like Godzilla in the water. So
well, there was more revealed as well, as Fred actually added a little bit to this article later on. And Fred, if anything, what's your thoughts now that it's actually been official for Godzilla being in Super Robot Wars X Omega?
So pretty much dreams do come true.
Oh my god!
It's like, I always thought like Godzilla is one of those things that you could always kind of warm your way into a Super Robot Wars game.
Yeah.
It's just like finding a creative way to do it, which I know the teams behind there, like, they find creative ways to integrate different series and their stories and plot lines and stuff like that. So it's like, now it's here, and it's on a mobile game, and I will find a way. No question, I will find it.
Are you pulling a Liam Neeson right now?
I am.
Like the Taken of Godzilla mobile games?
Yeah.
I will find him. I will find it.
And I will...
Either that or who's being the General Zod of mobile games. I will find it.
I will play it. But yeah, this is like awesome because like even we got more information now. Basically, the character models got released, and it's Godzilla, which is primarily based off of the Meyer Goji or the Millennium Godzilla suit from Godzilla 2000 Millennium, and also Kiryu Mechagodzilla from the 2002 movie Godzilla against Mechagodzilla is a playable character in the game. Oh. So yeah, you actually have your mech. So stop screaming. M. Stop screaming, saying it's not M. It's okay. You have your mecha. There's your tie-in. It's
hold
okay.
on. M means monsters too, right? Because there's a lot of monsters there.
No.
I'm messing with you, M. I'm messing with you. Don't worry. Send your hate mail my way. I'm ready. I'm ready for it. It's
no, stop. Don't do it.
That's SBRMAHQ@gmail.com.
No,
there you go. Send it my way. I'm ready. I got the catcher's mitt. I'm ready to go. Come at me.
Yeah, the people who don't even know your name and just know you as the guy, the black guy who laughs.
You like fat black guy who laughs? Yes. F him. Good times.
Fuck that guy.
Yeah, exactly. I'm now on the shit list. As like, finally, I've made it.
Welcome. Take your place of honor next to me, the shrill dictator who lords over people for having different opinions, and who writes shit reviews.
So, Chris,
Now you'll never review Zoids.
I can only hope to live to your infamy, sir. I can only hope to live to it, man. But yeah, man,
it's big footsteps you're following. Let's not kid ourselves.
Absolutely. Legendary footsteps.
You're standing on the shoulder of a giant, so you gotta live up to this position.
This monolith of a position.
I got a lot of work to do. But yeah, man, when you guys were hitting me on Twitter, and shout outs to both Autumn 4 and Gwen Campbell of the Macross Speaker podcast, they helped out with like verifying information about this throughout the days, and the information that started at kind of the beginning of the week with little leaks of information. The website was dropping, and someone data mined it, as Chris mentioned, and then finally today they started dropping pictures, and it was like, thank God, because I was hoping they would confirm it before we actually did the show. And yeah, it's really dope that to see Shin Godzilla in this versus Evangelion, two of Anno's works going head to head. Yo, where's his and her circumstances? Why can't they get in there?
Let's and to clarify, it's not necessarily Shin Godzilla. It's just Godzilla versus Evangelion.
Oh,
yeah, it's just the entire it's just Godzilla.
Oh man, I'm thinking it was Shin the whole time. Well, let me fix my face. I've ruined the whole card on the screen. Yes.
As usual.
Yes, indeed. News over.
Sorry.
No, it's all right. Yo, Chris,
We're done. Stream's over, folks.
It's over.
Pack it in. Go home.
Chris,
Show's canceled forever.
I know you're the most diehard Godzilla fan, Chris. What's your thoughts?
It's cool, I guess. I mean, I'm not particularly tokusatsu guy, so
Well, I mean,
dudes in suits don't really do it for me.
Dudes in suits. Well, what I really hope this leads to is that Pacific Rim may finally make it into a Super Robot Wars game. Yeah, but I doubt it, since as Fred had told me online, Pacific Rim did shit in Japan. Like, nobody gave a damn about it.
Yeah, because Japan has shit taste.
Oh.
So.
Damn.
But hey, well, in China, so maybe a mobile game.
Hey,
mobile game. There you go.
Don't do it. Stop.
Yo, if Legendary puts money into it, it's on. That's all that matters. That's all.
They will put money into it. What are you joking?
Yo, listen. Mosquito Valentine says Legendary pitches Kong first. Yes. Well,
No. Fuck Kong.
Yo, Kong.
Piece of shit.
Yo, welcome to 1970. Damn.
What's he ever do to you?
Yo, that trailer was banging. What are you talking about?
I know. No, it's cool, and it's a lot better than the Wonder Woman trailer. Oh shit! Shots fired.
Damn. Damn. You also wrong on that front, but go ahead.
I mean, it's okay to have a wrong opinion, Bentley Barry, but like.
Woo! Yo, the fire. I need to bring Kevlar. But yeah, I think it's cool to see Godzilla in this game, and even though it's a mobile game, maybe he'll also make a sneak appearance in Super Robot Wars V. Who knows? Maybe I'm talking shit, but
Probably.
Maybe. But so that's it for me about it. Exactly. But back to you, sir.
All right, and our next item comes from Vent Noir.
Woohoo! He's back.
Yes, via Collider.com. Transformers Combiner Wars Season 1 debuts online on August 2nd.
It was beautiful.
That's what's up.
It had no heart and soul because it's set 40 years after the Great War between Optimus Prime and Megatron. Transformers Combiner Wars sees an entirely new and much larger threat that faces the home planet of Cybertron. We thought it was cool seeing solitary Transformers morph into vehicles and fighting robots. Just imagine the havoc and fun when multiple Transformers combine to form gargantuan machines. we'll find out how that impacts Cybertronian politics on bot warfare when the 8-episode Transformers Combiner Wars series debuts on Go 90 starting August 2nd.
See, I thought you were doing a Mark Wahlberg impression, and then I remembered back to the dark ages of the internet of the heart and soul guy.
I mean, it could go both ways. Whichever they're one and the same. In a movie theater.
Nice. Yo, Yazzie says, yo, Chris, where's the Cade Yeager news?
Guys, I don't think this is a news article at all.
I gotta go lock up my daughter with a chastity belt, guys.
What if I could reverse engineer its technology? I could send you to college.
Unless her boyfriend happens to be carrying a creepy Romeo and Juliet car with sex laws on it.
Oh wow!
And I can't do anything.
I can't scrub that out of my brain right there. that's scene. Yeah, I saw this and I was pretty hyped because I don't know much about Combiner Wars, but I know it has a main protagonist that's a female. Windblade, is that true, Fred? Yeah, Windblade's the main character, and I know Fred is like he's definitely a devout reader of some of the comics, if not all of them, at least the ones that you find to be good. Have you read the Combiner Wars comic, or are you hyped for this at all? Because I know you're one of the biggest Transformers fans I know.
Like, I've read the Combiner Wars thing. The thing is with this show, unless I'm stand me corrected, internet. But like it's like inspired by the IDW comic. It doesn't directly it's not an adaptation of the arc in the comic. Mm-hmm. It just takes like the plot points of Combiner Wars and makes it its own thing because, according to this animated series, Megatron is still a Decepticon, which, according to the IDW universe, Megatron is an Autobot now. So, but yeah, I'm excited for it. I saw the teaser that released a couple of days ago, and it looks cool. They got the dude homeboy from
Honest Trailers.
To Optimus.
Yo, funny story about John Bailey, because that for those that don't know, that's his name. He had actually his channel on YouTube started as a Transformers fan channel, and he did dubs over the animated series for Transformers. That's how he started, and he started to do reviews for Transformers toys as well, doing the voices of Optimus Prime and Wheeljack and other characters from Transformers. He's a very talented voice actor. Most people know him from Honest Trailers, but he does a kick-ass Optimus Prime, and I think he does a really good Wheeljack too. And when I heard he got cast in this, I was like, I'm sad that it's not Peter Cullen, but it looks like they pulled from mainly YouTube talent for this entire series. If you look at the voice talent list, it's mostly like YouTube cats. So that has me kind of worried when it comes to the way the performances, because I don't know how Dashy from Dashy Games is going to be Menasor. I watch Dashy and I love his channel, but seriously?
This isn't in the whitest Bible, so it's gonna suck.
Oh my god.
YouTube garbage. It's not the original generation from 1984.
Oh no.
You had to record things on the videotapes.
Yeah, back in 1984, we didn't have gay robots in space. So.
Oh, yeah. And now we do. Yo, Transformers is making headway, man, at least in the comic world. Patrick Seitz is also involved as one of the voice actors. He's the only voice actor outside of John Bailey that I know is a professional voice actor that I've heard his work before. And Patrick Seitz directs a lot of anime dubs and whatnot. And he's Devastator's voice, so that's really cool that he's in there too. But has the comic been good? Even though this may not be like an exact adaptation, is the comic any good? Because I know you love More Than Meets the Eye. That adaptation, that comic, but is this close to that level or not even close?
No, it's not really close to More Than Meets the Eye, which I wish you would read.
Oh shit! Damn it!
I don't know. Somehow you got these books in your hands. I don't know where they came from.
Oh my!
They just appeared.
Shout out to Fred. He gifted me More Than Meets the Eye I'd say over a year and some change ago, and I read the first volume, and I've been meaning to go back. So yeah, egg on my face. It's Cybertron egg on my face. There you go.
I'm joking. The Combiner
Energon on your face.
Energon on my face, all over my face, neck, and chest.
Not an image I needed.
Oh my!
That sounds like a Dogen. Anyways. Well, The Combiner Wars, like it's a good book, good series that happened. It was an offshoot of the Robots in Disguise series before it changed to the Transformers, to kind of avoid confusion with the TV show that was happening at the same time, and of course the Windblade comics that happened, which are really good. Which Sarah Stone would come back to do the art again, but yeah, Combiner Wars, it was a pretty good book. It was pretty much, it's just a really good like action-y book. There's nothing really gonna like change your whole world view of like Transformers. Not like More Than Meets the Eye, I think, but it's a good read. Though you may be lost if you jump into it. Which I think this cartoon series, the reason why they're doing and not a direct adaptation is because a lot of people would just get lost because they're like, well, why is Starscream the head of Cybertron now, and why is his left-hand man's Rat Trap, and I didn't know Beast Wars happened during G1, and why is this happening and all that. So it's just like it's a loose, like, taking the plot points and redoing it. So it's good to get the new audiences in there. But hey, hopefully it leads to more people getting into the books. So
that's not too bad. If that's the
You'll
case,
never have any hot and soul.
I know this will be available on Machinima's pay network. So if you guys want to check that out, by all means. Shout outs to Bright Star Song, who asked who is the voice of Windblade. That's Abby Trott. She's an actress with credits that include TV series The Seven Deadly Sins and Miss Monochrome, and she was also in the Killer Instinct video game that recently came out. So that's where she's from. I've never heard her in anything before personally, but hopefully she kicks ass, man. I'm looking forward to seeing the show. I just wish the production was a little bit better.
Yeah, me and you both.
Yeah. It's not as good. It's definitely not as good as the Transformers Prime when it comes to the way the animation quality is. But I do like the character designs. I think that's really cool.
Yeah, and like to kind of answer some questions, like according to the teaser that we got, like, God, I forgot her name, even though you just said it.
Oh, Windblade? Yeah.
Yeah, Windblade's voice actor. She does a really good job, even though her one line is "I'm going to kill you," as she cuts off a combiner's arm. And I'm not having flashbacks to Dark of the Moon Prime, where he says, just give me your face. And,
you remember that, huh?
Just like Mortal Kombat's an axe through Megatron's head and just rips his skull off with his spinal column. And,
yes.
I mean, I love that Prime. But,
that's the Transformers people want to see. Not really.
That's the true heart and soul. I'm sorry, Chris, but that's the true heart and soul right there.
If you talk to the box office, they'll make you think that. But Chris, man, last time I talked to you about this, you had mentioned that after seeing the recent Transformers series, you really weren't either. You weren't thrilled nor you weren't looking forward to this one, I guess. Has watching the trailer or seeing the news about this made you any more interested at all?
It has, because clearly this is targeting a different audience, and Robots in Disguise is a mainstream, much younger audience, which is fine. It's just not for me, so I gave up on Robots in Disguise.
Yeah.
I skipped like the last half of the first season and saw the season finale, and the story kind of came together finally, but it's still just wasn't for me, which is fine. I don't have to watch all the Transformers. It doesn't have to be made, for a 36-year-old guy.
Oh my God!
It can be for kids, and that's fine by me. I just don't want to watch it. So, I'll check out Combiner Wars.
Yeah, hopefully this will find that nice middle ground so that everybody can enjoy it. But yeah, that's it. That's it for me on this one.
Okay, so we will move on to our next news item via Philly Gundam fan, and this also is coming from Collider.com. Charlie Hunnam not returning for Pacific Rim 2.
Man, that breaks my heart, man. That breaks my heart.
It says, speaking to Yahoo Movies at Comic-Con, Charlie Hunnam confirms that he will not be returning to play Raleigh Beckett in Pac Rim 2. He says there was an early draft that featured him heavily, but with the shooting scheduling for Pacific Rim 2, he wasn't able to fit it in, and so he'll be unavailable. While he won't be participating in the round 2 of Kaiju vs. Jaeger Mayhem, Hunnam did say, I'm very excited about it. I'm glad they're making it. So, We'll see. We'll see what Idris Elba Jr. can do.
Yeah,
He's got big shoes to step into there.
Yeah, I think when we came back our initial live episode, we touched on Pacific Rim 2 a little bit and mentioned that John Boyega is going to be the new lead character, the son of Stacker Pentecost. So even though we didn't get introduced to his character in the last movie, it's cool to hear that he has a son and that they picked Boyega to play him. Boyega always brings a lot of energy to his roles. So I'm excited to see what they're going to write for him, and I hope they can get at least some of the other cast members back because I liked Rinko Kikuchi from the movie and several other people who were in there. So
hopefully he'll uncancel the apocalypse.
Hopefully. But Fred, man, I know you're also a staunch fan of Pacific Rim. What are your thoughts on this, man?
Makes my wiener sad because Charlie Dunham's hot.
Dude's got abs.
Did you see him in that King Arthur trailer? Holy shit!
God. So hyped. Yeah.
Of course, King Arthur, you'd be hyped.
You dick! Yo, I keep opening myself up.
You do. You just do, man. You just make it so it's like it's not even low-hanging fruit. The fruit is already on the ground. The fruit is practically just jumping into my hands from the tree on its own. I'm not even doing anything.
I'll just put my head on the chopper block myself. Make it easy for you. Line it up with that axe, please. But yeah, man, I'm pretty thrilled for this. It's still going to be a while before we see Pacific Rim 2. They haven't even started filming it, and I think they're still working on the script anyway. But more announcements to come, I guess. Hopefully by next Comic-Con, they'll already be shooting it. So we'll see. But
yeah, like it sucks that he's not in it because I really loved his character in Pacific Rim. Like, I mean, let the record stand that I think Pacific Rim was a better monster movie than Godzilla 2014. That's saying a lot because everybody knows how much of a starch Godzilla fan that I am. But
oh yeah,
like, I absolutely love Pacific Rim, and I love his character, what is presented on the table, and what he brought to the table. And it sucks that he's gone, but at least we have a sequel, and that makes me all the happier. And just right now, I don't know if we got a director announced for it yet, but
it's Stephen DeKnight, who was the showrunner for the first season of Daredevil. And he's also worked on. He was the showrunner for Spartacus on Starz as well. He's done a really good job with both those shows. So honestly, I'm thrilled to see that he's involved with that. Although I'm sad to see that Del Toro's not going to be directing it, but I think DeKnight's a pretty good pick personally.
Yeah, I have not seen either property that you just mentioned.
Well, boo on you, man. Good. Finally, I got something over you, bro.
And I'll just keep reminding you every day about this Gay Robots in Space comic and that Metal Gear game.
Oh my God! Stop. Touche. But man, any other thoughts on Pacific Rim 2, guys?
Hope it doesn't suck.
Oh my gosh.
I can't wait for it to rip off Evangelion again, according to what the internet tells us.
Hey man, you might as well borrow from what works. That's all I know. I mean, if I don't. I mean, maybe it took some inspiration from it, but everything pulls from something. So I don't see how this should be any different. But shout out to. Go ahead. No, go ahead, Fred. Go for it.
It's funny because Del Toro had never even seen Ava, and maybe one guy on the crew had seen it before, and everybody's like, "Dude, fucking Del Toro stole shit from Ava, and he's such a hack. He's much of a hack as Anno is, and blah blah blah." It's
damn!
He hasn't even seen the show.
You have to make your nerd voice more uppity and dismissive, and you have to have more of like a snake-like.
See, I always do my nerd voice like he's having the fat around his body collapsing his lungs, and he can barely breathe because of all the pizza stacks and hot pockets he just absorbs via osmosis and that he has on the IV drip.
Mom, get out of my room. I'm arguing with people on the internet about stuff. It's very serious and important. And people know my views that G-Reco is a masterpiece and that MAHQ is a shit website.
Yo,
I don't want any Hot Pockets right now, Mom.
What is this?
Take out the trash, Mom.
Yo, it's like a stage performance for M. Man. Beautiful stuff. But Well, shout outs to Matt Wheaton, who says John Boyega was cool as Finn in The Force Awakens. I'm confident he'll pull off Stacker Pentecost Jr. If that's his name, man. I'm still going for Stringer Pentecost. That's what I want. Stringer
Shut up.
Pentecost, baby. Let's go. I'm ready.
It's terrible.
Yo, String.
We all know the reason why he was cast is literally only because of The Force Awakens. Like, that's primarily...
Yeah,
I know.
Yeah,
but
I
I'm
mean,
just saying,
what's the matter?
It's the
I'm
same.
not saying it's a problem. I'm just like, hey, it's a wonderful observation. You know, it's like, look at how the planets align for that one, huh?
Hey, Fred, welcome to How Hollywood Works.
You know that.
Oh my god. But that's what's up, man. You know, Pacific Rim 2 coming in a few years. Strap in. Oh man.
All right, so let's speed through some of the rest of these new items so we can move on.
Absolutely.
Next up, we have from Vent Noir via Anime News Network, Macross Delta Vita game ships on October 20th. And Famitsu reported that Bamco is turning the ongoing Delta series into a Vita game called Macross Delta Scramble, where you can use a Valkyrie in all 3 modes. And from the gameplay, it pretty much looks like the Ace... the Frontier PSP games, and I believe it's the same developer, so just newer Valks and shinier graphics from the sounds of it.
Man, that's not too bad. I mean, the game looks pretty nice. I've got to say.
It does. I mean, I'm not going to play it because I don't have a Vita. Sorry, hello.
Welcome to the club. I don't. Welcome to the. We don't have a Vita club. There's a lot of members.
We don't have a dead console.
Oh,
I'm joking. Oh my god.
Oh damn. Yo,
I'm joking.
Fire's about to get lit.
No, I'm joking. No.
So next up, we have the Philly Gundam fan again, and from Anime News Network, Knights of Sidonia creator talks about a possible 3rd season. Manga creator Tsutomu Nihei and anime co-director Hiroyuki Seshida discussed the possibility of a 3rd season at the Spotlight on Tsutomu Nihei panel at Comic-Con. When asked if Sidonia was getting a 3rd season or if it would get movie adaptations, Nihei said, "I'm also waiting for Sidonia 3, but I'm not the one who's making it or getting funding for it, so it's up to this guy," and pointed at Seshida. Seshida then said, "I don't have time to do it right now, but I'll definitely get to it. So if you watch and support Knights of Sidonia and do the same for Blame, that will increase our chances of that coming true."
Man, I'll be honest with you. I'd rather they wait a little while and work on that rendering technology so they can get the frame rate up. Because as they did the best they could with the way the show looked. I think the show was pretty presentable, even though it's for CG animation it's a little rough around the edges sometimes. But for the most part, I'm looking forward to season 3. But if they take their time with it, I'm not in any hurry.
And we have one last news item, but I'm going to leave that for the end as a segue to our first topic. I'm going to insert 3 news items of my own.
Oh, go ahead, man.
So, first one from Anime News Network. We have now on Amazon Prime streaming of the original subtitled Macross.
Yeah, I heard that news just broke yesterday, man.
So you can pay money for it, or it's free if you got Prime Video.
Mm-hmm.
So, good that it's available again legally in some form, because it was pulled from Hulu years ago, I would say, right?
Yeah, it was on there for a good long while, and then it got pulled off.
And these DVDs have been out of print for a very long time, so it's getting harder and harder to get your hands on it without resorting to the Methods Network. Which, whose fault is that? Harmony Gold.
Ooh. As Yazi writes, Harmony ass gold can't do anything to harass Amazon from the stream.
well, at least you got those Robotech DVDs that are plenty at the bargain bin dealers, and
Robotech is the best franchise because it's the one that's still popular and alive. And look at Macross. Macross is dying.
Yo, speaking of bargain bin, this man Fred sent me a tweet saying, "What is this piece of shit show?" And he shows me a picture of Voltron's Volume 1 on DVD. It's like, bro, you need to close your mouth.
But it was sitting right next to Wig. It has to be shit.
Oh, you would say you're the worst. You're absolutely the worst. Terrible. Fix
Gundam.
Yo. Oh my god. Too much.
So the second item is that Patlabor is getting a new 10-minute anime short called Patlabor Reboot, which you can see a trailer on ANN, and it looks so nice. I'm thinking to myself, man, can we get a whole new show, a whole new animated series, not a live action show?
Yeah, oh yeah, man. Did you ever finish the live action show at all?
How could I? No one ever subbed the whole thing.
I guess no one liked it to sub it, man. That's heartbreaking, man. I wanted to watch at least the first episode. I could not find a decent sub of that. I'm sure there is one though, but damn.
Nobody wanted to touch it. One, you had two things going against you.
Yeah.
One, it was mecha. Two, it was live action.
Oh yeah, true.
What fan ever wants to waste their time on that when they can, stretch their EP in doing something else?
But there's like 10 different groups that subtitle Power Rangers Japanese Bugman shows though.
Sure, why not? I mean, that's very important to be done, but Patlabor, sorry.
Yeah, I know. That's what I'm saying. Like, I'm surprised one of these groups didn't do that, because a lot of them are big tokusatsu guys, and surprisingly they haven't subbed any of that. So yeah. And
the last of my new items, on a much sadder note via TMZ and other sites, Babylon 5 actor Jerry Doyle unexpectedly died yesterday at the age of 60. No known cause of death yet, and he's yet another Babylon 5 actor to unfortunately go before their time, and sorry to see him go. He was an actor, also a writer and radio host, and was active on social media, and it's another loss to the B5 community.
Man, that does suck, man. I heard about that today too, man. It's unfortunate that he passed. It was Garibaldi, right?
Yeah.
Man, dang.
It's like I don't get how it is that more people have died from Babylon 5 than from the original Star Trek.
Ain't that crazy? It's nuts, man. You have the original, like most of the people are still kicking from the 1966 series for Star Trek, but Babylon 5, man, it's just. But this year's been brutal on all sorts of people, so it doesn't surprise me that another person that we like got taken this year. But it's still unfortunate, man. May you rest in peace. That sucks. Yeah.
So I'll toast glass of water, since he's recovering alcoholic, and in my best London Molari say, toast to you, Mr. Garibaldi.
There you go. Quite the send off, sir. Quite the send off.
And our last item comes from Philly Gundam fan, again via Anime News Network. Voltron Legendary Defender Season 2 coming to Netflix in late 2016. So it's been announced that the second season will air later this year, again exclusively on Netflix. So there you go.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I was thinking it was not going to even drop till next year. So to hear that it's actually coming a whole lot sooner than that, we'll probably get another like 10 or 11 episodes. But that's cool.
I'm not surprised that this happened, because I remember hearing when this show was announced that this is like a new strategy for Netflix of ordering big episode counts up front and then just splitting up into smaller seasons. Mm-hmm. In 13-episode chunks. So it was, I think, pretty well known that there was going to be more of this show, and it was already in production before they even made this announcement.
Yeah.
Which brings us a perfect segue point to moving into our topic of discussion. So, Fred, thanks for joining us, and get the fuck out.
Okay. Thanks for having me on.
Anytime.
Yo, Fred, tell them where they can follow you or where they can find you online.
Twitter.com/Frederick00. You can find my unfunny tweets there and me spazzing out about giant rubber monsters and shit. And please listen to the Mech Talks podcast. I promise we're going to have the next episode up soon. Like I said earlier, we just talk about random shit. We shoot the shit. It's me, myself, and Matthew, who also does his podcast called the Amazing Fantasy Podcast. And just follow me on Twitter, and that's all the updates. And I'm sorry, please don't hate me.
Hey, remember
Everybody does anyway.
No.
here's
The internet's.
a secret about Fred Rex's name, by the way. On
you
on
fucking
Double
dare.
O, yes. See, the Double O in his name means
I
he
swear to
loves
God.
Gundam Double O. Make sure
I
to tweet
swear to
at him
God,
about
you're
Gundam
dead to
Double
me.
O. Oh,
You're fucking dead to me. I swear to God.
He believes in the legend of the king.
yeah,
swear to God.
he sure does.
Holy shit.
He's
Don't
this.
you dare.
He's my number 2 in that
Don't you fucking
in the
put that
campaign.
evil on me. Fuck that show.
Do you believe in the gospel of Jihad Kun?
No, he's stupid. I hate him. He's one of the worst Gundam characters ever. That's another topic for another day.
By hate, you
Leave.
love.
No. Fuck him.
Another satisfied customer.
I hate you. So I hate you for eternity.
With the Sobro guarantee, the Sobro seal of approval.
I back it.
All right.
Well, Fred, man, thank you so much for being on, man. If anything, Fred loves G Gundam. Tweet him about G Gundam. Don't tweet about Double O. You'll only get vitriol and hate. But Fred, man, I hope you have a good night, man. And thanks for being on the show, man. You did freaking great, man. If anything, we'll make this happen again sometime, man. Come on in.
When we talk about gay robots in space
When we finally talk about More Than Meets the Eye, you will be back, and I can't wait to do about that. And now that I'm working at a job where I have nothing but time to read, I'm about to get into that. So don't you worry, we're about to get
Not
it.
gonna masturbate?
No,
I mean, I would.
hey, my cubicle is not that protective.
Anyway, that would stop me. Anyways,
Oh wow.
Okay, I'm getting the fuck out of here.
You're the worst. All right.
all right, because
Mwah. Peace. Man, that was Fred. Yo, he's left the building, man. Good shit. But
I'm on again.
oh my god. Never again, huh? Yo, scorched earth. But all right, man, Voltron it is. Before we get into Voltron, just want to remind you guys to make sure to peep the websites, mahq.net, megatalk.net. That's where the magic happens. Go there, hit the follow button. Make sure to turn off those pop-up ads. Make sure to turn off the ad blockers. There's no pop-up ads on MAHQ. It's smooth. It's smooth. Chris has made it smooth and silky. Make sure you go there, hit that website every day, read the reviews. That's what's going on. The other websites we'll get into later. But let's do it, man. We got to talk about some Voltron, y'all.
So I'm gonna turn it over to you for the synopsis and fanboying, so that I can stop talking and go get some water.
Yeah,
so
you go get.
just talking to an empty mic. And,
Yay, yo! I get the parlay.
Yeah, and then I'll just come back in a minute or two.
You go do that, sir. In the meantime, guys, welcome to our review of, we're doing 2 reviews tonight. Later on, we're going to be doing a review of Gundam The Origin, OVA 3. But before we get into that, we're going to talk about Season 1 of Voltron Legendary Defender, which dropped on Netflix a couple weeks ago, actually. The first episode, it's actually technically 3 episodes, which pretty much gets into the how the team gets together. We kind of find the main characters, at least 3 of the main characters, already at an academy for the Galaxy Garrison. There's a nice cameo actually in the first episode of a character from Macross. None other than Roy Fokker makes a guest appearance in the first episode of Voltron. If you look for him very close, you don't have to look for him. He's kind of like up in the camera, so you can't miss him. But if you did miss him, go back and check that out. But these three characters, Pidge, Hunk, and Lance. They kind of get thrust together in a situation where they witness a crash landing of a person who just escaped an alien empire. Who, as you saw in the beginning of the episode, he and his crewmates get kidnapped by this alien empire called the Zarkon Empire, and this character Shiro manages to make an escape. And he gets quickly taken by the authorities, or the Galaxy Garrison authorities, and these 3 try to make an attempt to rescue him, but another rogue pilot, a guy who used to be at Galaxy Garrison, Keith, before he kind of got expelled, he's also trying to rescue Shiro, who turns out to be an old friend of his. So these 5 end up just thrust together just by fate, and they make an escape on Keith's vehicle from Galaxy Garrison and manage to talk to Shiro, who now has a bionic arm for some mysterious reason, and doesn't remember much from being when he was imprisoned by Zarkon. And then the series goes from there. They go on a quest to find what they discover is the Blue Lion, which is hidden on Earth, on the planet that they're on, and then they end up taking the Blue Lion. The Blue Lion ends up taking all 5 of them to planet Eris, where they are introduced to Princess Allura and Koran, and then the adventure starts from there. But just so you guys know, if you haven't seen the show, we're going to be getting into the ins and outs of the show, and spoilers will abound. So if you haven't seen this, come back and check this out later. And I'm looking at the chat right now. I'm seeing some craziness. But I will go ahead and we'll start off by talking about the actual main 5 characters: Keith, Hunk, Lance, Shiro, and Pidge Gunderson.
This show had no heart and soul.
No heart and soul, man. No,
not like the original generation.
I'm sure some asshole said that. I'm sure some asshole out there is saying, "Oh man, the original one's so much better. This one's just so stupid and modern and stupid." But you know what? Forget them because they have no taste. At least when it comes to this series, I really did enjoy the main 5 characters. More so, I guess, out of all the characters, I probably like Lance the best. Lance, to me, was comedy relief, but he was always somewhat funny, and always livening the mood. I asked for what's funny about the Paladins in this. If you remember the original series, the 5 characters, out of the 5, Keith was the leader. And in this, he's kind of relegated as more so a potential leader in training. They kind of developing his character in a possible direction where he might actually become the leader at a later time. But then again, the show's kind of thrown our expectations out the window when it comes to these characters so far. And I'm just curious to see exactly where his character is going to go as the series progresses. They threw me for a loop with Pidge, although I had a suspicion that Pidge's secret was exactly what it turned out to be. Chris, what'd you think about the big reveal about Pidge?
Well, I was spoiled on it, so I knew beforehand.
Oh, damn it.
I cannot comment on the reveal, but it in retrospect, it doesn't look particularly surprising.
No, especially I'm already familiar with the actress that got to play Pidge. Pidge turns out to actually be a fake name in this iteration of Pidge. And in all truth, Pidge is actually a girl by the name of Katie Holt. And Katie is actually looking for her brother, which is one of the crewmates of Shiro that was kidnapped and taken prisoner by the Zarkon Empire. So that's her dad. And her dad too. Yeah. So they're kidnapped. There's a really good episode where they flash back to who she really is. And the woman who does her voice, I remember seeing her on Arrow and several other shows as well. So yeah, she usually does tomboyish characters, so it didn't surprise me that Pidge turned out to be a girl. Although Pidge could have very well been a boy the whole time.
Well, I mean, you can't really go off of voice actors because it's common to have women
play youngsters,
young boys.
So if anything, on paper it looks all right, but the fact that it turned out that she was in disguise and that everybody seemed to know except for Lance. It's pretty crazy
because Lance is dense.
Yes, very. Yet he still manages to throw me. He kind of reminds me of a Kai a little bit. He's a little Kai-ish, a Kai Shiden from Mobile Suit Gundam, but he's got a bit more. He's got a bit more jokes.
He's like a dumber Kai Shiden. A lot dumber.
Man. Kaon73 says, I think this modern version of Lance was modeled off of Mobile Suit Gundam's Kai Shiden. I wouldn't doubt it. I think the people who are behind this show, they have a lot of love for Mecha series, as well as for those who don't know, the people behind this series are also the same people who are behind Avatar: The Last Airbender and The Legend of Korra. So
I don't think there's any way you can see the character designs in this show and not know that.
That's pretty. That makes a lot. That I can't deny that. I'd say the character that I'm least sold on, but I have a lot of interest in regardless, is Shiro. Shiro is actually, I guess, this series version of Sven, because in the original Japanese version of Voltron, the character was called Shirogane, was his name, and they decided to pay homage to that character by naming this iteration of him Shiro instead of Sven, and giving him a crazy accent like they did in the original version. And he has a lot more to do in this series than he did in the original one. He kind of was just around for a few episodes and then gets killed in the Japanese version and injured in the American version, and then he's gone. And that's it. Only make a couple return visits in the series and not really playing much of a role. Now there's a mystery behind him where you don't know exactly what happened to him when he was Zarkon's prisoner, except for maybe a few moments of flashbacks where he gets, and that mystery will continue to drive the series, I'm sure. But anything about those characters? What character did you like the most out of the 5?
I like Pidge quite a bit. Lance sometimes is just a little too much.
Yeah.
To handle with his stupidity.
Oh boy.
Keith is just kind of there off to the side amount of the time. Shiro's kind of a cipher, and Hunk, while I like him, the fat jokes sometimes are just like a little too much. It's like, okay guys, yes, we get it. He's a fat guy, he likes food. Not everything in his damn life literally has to be about food.
Come on, but we fat guys, we love food. As a fat guy, it didn't bother me all that much, but still,
it's not that I was offended. It's just like the joke gets old.
They kept falling back on it.
If you went through that a little bit, that's like the low-hanging fruit of, oh hey, fat guy, Fatty McFatterson.
Fatty McFatterson. Yeah, they kind of ran it into the ground. I'll admit that, and some of the humor does seem abrupt in the show. I mean, I heard a lot of people actually complaining about that. To me, it wasn't that bad, but some of the humor is forced in some places, and some of it, even though forced, made me laugh. Like the scene where they went to that village in Eris, and they met up with all the natives, and one of the natives hugged Keith. And Keith said how cute it was, and then you hear he said, "Thank you." The deepest ass voice for the cutest ass villager.
And the look on Keith's face is just solid.
That shit was priceless.
That is just the best moment of that damn show.
Absolutely, that's definitely one of my favorite moments. But yeah, I mean, they kind of have to throw stuff at the wall and see if it sticks, and I think for the most part it does. But I like this iteration of these characters. Allura, I like her rendition too. She doesn't seem to be just the princess and there to be pretty and all that until she finally gets to pilot the Blue Line. But at the same time, she's actually the person who runs the Castle of Lions, and she's the strategist. And she also, is pretty much in charge of the entire operation. So they gave her a lot to do in this, and I really appreciate that about her character. Also, she's much darker than she was in the original series. Her complexion is a bit she got a bit more melanin. I noticed in this version, but I dig what they've done with her. And Koran is hilarious. He's voiced by some Australian comedian. I forget his name, but that guy is definitely given 110% as that character. But we'll go ahead and just move on to something that people wanted to for us to get into, and that's Voltron's new design. I want to ask you, man, what did you think of the new design for Voltron?
I like it. It's very slick and streamlined, and not kind of boxy.
Yeah.
The way that the original was. It's a fitting design for the times. It's not quite what you would expect from what you see in Japanese mecha design trends right now.
Yeah.
Where you see a lot of sharp angles on stuff, and there's a lot smoother curves, and especially around the chest area once it's formed as Voltron. So I dig the fresh take on it, and of course I love the stock animation every episode of the combining sequence. Yeah. It's not Gal Gaigar, but it's
yeah, it took me a while to actually start to warm up to it. I didn't like the redesign at first. I actually prefer the original design a bit more. But as I watched the show and I saw how it flowed, especially in the set pieces, and just certain angles of it. It's starting to warm up on me, I would say. I do like the design of the lions, though. The lions, when separated and not in Voltron form, I think the fact that they gave the lions all individual looks, even more unique looks than they had initially, I think is a fantastic change for that. And I'm really enjoying the way the lions look and move in this series. But let's see here. Speaking of Voltron, one of the big changes in this show that they did is that they made it so that that each episode, not all of them rely on Voltron. So you get an episode where Voltron is just either takes a backseat or doesn't even have any involvement. While in the original series, it was kind of formulaic, where every episode they had to defeat some rogue beast and form Voltron. At least most of the episodes. And it just,
that's most shows of that.
Yeah,
variety.
Exactly. And I was afraid.
The only exception being Dan Cougar.
Yeah. If that's the case, at least in that period of time, that was the story for most Super Robot shows. At the end of the episode, there was some big monster that had to be fought or another.
Even in non.
Mm-hmm.
Once again, the show defies classification, but a day and it's always, here's the gobbledygook whatever thing that will surely defeat the giant god this time.
Yeah.
Okay. Good luck with that.
Yeah, even in the day on, it was like that. So it's no fault of the original series that they pretty much, that was the standard back then. But in this series, they could have gone right back into that, and they decided not to. This series really relies on the strength of the characters, and nothing's more. It shows even more when they have an episode where they don't have to get into the lines or use Voltron, like the episode where the castle's raided. That was a very good episode. It was called "The Fall of the Castle of the Lions," where Sendak raids the place and they turn off the power and they take control, or they try to take control of Pidge's drone, and Pidge is about to leave because Pidge doesn't want to stick around anymore because he wants to go off and find his father and her father and brother, and then all sorts of shit happens and it turns into Die Hard for Pidge.
Yep, pretty much. Minus the yippee-ki-yay.
Yep, pretty much.
On the subject of design, I also like how Voltron's wings can separate and combine to become a shield.
Yeah, that's pretty fantastic. And the shield, it's kind of Gundam-esque.
It is passingly RX-78-ish. Like, wonder what's going on there.
And what about the weapons, man? The fact that all the Paladins have these weapons assigned to them, and then they can actually put them in the machine, put them into the console inside Voltron, and then they turn into much larger weapons or much larger variations of those weapons. It's fantastic. Of course, you find out that Keith has a sword as his what's it called? They're called Bayards, and his is a sword, and then when he punches his Bayard into the console, it becomes the blazing sword for Voltron. So Hunks becomes a cannon that shoots lasers that shoot everywhere, like Eternal Circus. Eternal Circus missiles. It's pretty neat, the changes. If you remember in the original series, they had keys that they needed to pilot Voltron. In this version, no keys are required. But yeah, what about favorite episodes, man? Do you have any episodes that you remember watching that you really enjoyed overall?
I dug the episode when Sendak's troops infiltrated the castle and the inexperience of everyone was laid bare. Mm-hmm. And they had to fight to get the castle back. The episodes with the Balmera were also good.
Yeah.
The way that Allura kind of stands up and inspires people to not commit, species-wide suicide.
Yeah.
And just die. One episode that did bug me a little bit in one respect was in the episode where the ship gets taken over or gets corrupted by the Galra tech.
Yeah.
And there's all the business about the AI representation of Allura's dad.
Yeah.
They did not show him at all after the pilot until this episode near the end of the season. So when the moment comes that she has to unplug him and basically destroy the remaining memories of her dad, it didn't have as much effect as it could have if it had been the case that you saw her frequently running that AI and like sort of leaning on him as a crutch to her past, and then she's forced to destroy him.
Yeah,
It's like, I forgot about him entirely. Then it's like, oh yeah, that guy exists as a hologram thing with his memories.
Yeah.
And oh, now they got to destroy him. How sad.
Yeah, he barely made an appearance, and when and the only time he had a significant role was really in that episode where they had to kind of cut ties with him because of what was going on. That was sad. I mean, at the end of the day, I guess he was kind of a crutch for Allura, and she kind of has to move on and be a strong leader without having to go back to her father. Because I got the impression that even though that was the only other episode he showed up in, she still went to talk to him all the time in between episodes, or maybe he was kind of
right. But that's stuff that you got to show, not have the viewer just assume.
That's true. I agree with that. But yeah, that Crystal Venom episode was kind of like the obligatory haunted castle bottle episode. But
the haunted refrigerator Cowboy Bebop episode.
Oh Jesus, yeah. Still one of the best episodes of that series, man. But yeah, that was an okay episode. But yeah, I agree with you. The Fall of the Castle of Lions is a really good one. One of the moments in that I really enjoyed was when Lance took the shot. When Lance got hit because he was protecting Koran, and he's pretty much laid out for most of those 2 episodes until the moment that matters, where he actually comes to and helps out in the battle against what's his name, freaking Sendak. Yeah. And yeah, that was went on to show a valiant side to Lance, so I like that a lot. I did enjoy the battle on Balmera too, because the Robeast battle, where they just got put to the test. Like they had to go and take cover underground while they had to figure out a plan on how to take that thing on. And it turned out that Hunk saved the day with his weapon. So that was really nice that he could find a way to utilize that in his console. And that weapon was pretty badass. And the fact that they have to use teamwork as a big factor in this series. They have to they can't just take on a Robeast straight up with the blazing sword and dominate it. They have to actually figure something out. There was hints of that in the original series, but in this show, they really do stress that. So that's pretty nice. What do you think of Space Norman Reedus in that episode Taking Flight, where they got... As soon as that fool started talking, it's like, yo, that's Daryl. Get out of here. Which makes sense because there's already another Walking Dead alumni in this show, which is the voice of Keith. What's his name? Steve Ewan, who plays Glenn. Thank you. On The Walking Dead. I need to get caught up on that. But yeah, Steve Ewan is the voice of Keith in this, and sure enough, Norman Reedus shows up. So it makes me wonder who else they're going to pull from The Walking Dead to be in this show. One way or the other. But that was a fun episode. But yeah, I like the stuff on Balmera, especially with Hunk getting it on with getting the Love Jones for that one girl. I forget her name though. Oh my god. Shay. Yo, he's
how could you forget?
Oh my god, he's gonna get it on with a Rock Lord, bro.
One might say he'll rock on.
He'll rock on. Oh my gosh. But she's cute, man.
The sunglasses are lowering onto my face as I'm saying that.
Yes.
Just in case you're wondering.
Freaking terrible. This brings me to a question on Twitter by Yazi. Let me pull this up real quick. Yazi asks, whatever happened to the maid from Voltron, the one voiced by a man in the original show, the proto-doctor girlfriend? Let me get that on the screen here. Oops, that's the wrong one. All right, there we go. I think that character Shay is going to end up being part of their team overall. And when she does, she's going to maybe serve as kind of an assistant to Princess Allura. That's one of my predictions for the later on episodes of the season, because they spend a lot of time on her, so I don't think that's the last we'll see of Shay in the long run. And maybe she'll be the nanny of this show, because that's what her name. That's Nanny was the character you're talking about on on the original series, Zazie, at least in the American version. So maybe she'll be some kind of a pseudo version of her that's a whole lot more defined than Nanny was. But yeah, that's what I think about that. Thanks for the tweet, Yazi. I much appreciate it. Another tweet that we got here is from Austin. He says, how do you feel about the comedy in Voltron? Do you feel that it ruins some of the more serious scenes in the show? I for the most part, it didn't bother me. I thought it was okay. There's some moments where it is forced, but overall, I didn't think it really like killed the show for some people. I know there's some people on Twitter that talk to me. It's like, yeah, I stopped watching it because it's just too silly. And it's like, what were you expected to be Voltoms?
So, bro, is it Voltron forced?
Oh, Jesus.
Sunglasses lowering again.
Yes, exactly. Awesome.
Yeah, the humor on this show I know is divisive for people, but it's not like it's some kind of like blatantly really young audience like the Marvel cartoons right now or Transformers: What's in Disguise. So if you're turned off by the humor and stop watching the show because of that, I would say, one, get a sense of humor. Two, just get over it and enjoy the show because it is more than just that.
Yeah, I mean, I think for people who may have watched Avatar or Korra, you fell right in. Like, it was no sweat on your back to see like the jokes in this. For me, I watched a few episodes of those shows, so I knew kind of what to expect. So it really wasn't a big deal to me. But for some people who weren't used to how those shows flowed, this might have thrown them for a loop. I don't know. So,
well, here's the thing. What people of our age, our generation, need to keep in mind is what I've been saying all along about Robots in Disguise, that not everything is made for you, and that's okay.
Amen.
Not everything has to pander to you, the 30-something adult male. If something is not for you, that's fine. You can choose not to watch it, but if you're going to reject it for some like narrow reason, then you're missing out on something good.
Exactly.
But if it's a bridge too far to cross, then that's fine too.
I mean, for such a minor complaint. I don't know why that's such a big deal for some, but I guess
it's not like we're talking like some Double Zeta level.
Yeah.
Slapstick and bad comedy that's happening every episode. I mean, we're talking little bits peppered here and there.
Yeah, I mean, they're also trying to pull in young children too to watch this, not just the old timers like ourselves, which I pounded this show out in like 2 days. So and I would say less than that, like a day and a half. And I watched it pretty much from when it dropped because I used to watch Voltron back in the day. Back in 1984, I came home from school one day and it was on TV and my cousin was watching it and I was sold because it was a giant robot with people piloting it. And I kind of got to relive that again by watching this show when I started to binge it on Netflix. And for me and for many others, I was watching the tweets that weekend too, and people were like having a lot of fun watching the show and just reliving their childhood. This is just that old childhood feeling that they got from watching this. So that nostalgia. The nostalgia glasses were on tight, son. I'm lowering my glasses, and they're nostalgia based. There you go.
Well, I personally have no nostalgia glasses on for this series because even though I was of the age to watch Voltron as a kid, and I did, it did not particularly leave a big mark on my childhood the way that, say, something like Transformers did.
Yeah.
And I've never gone back to revisit Voltron or the original Go Lion. Never saw Third Dimension, which is probably a good thing from what I've heard.
Oh, yeah.
Never saw Voltron Force. So, for me, I'm approaching this show more as just a new Super Robot show on its own merits rather than something living up to the legacy of the other Voltron shows.
Absolutely. Let's see here. We got another tweet, and it's from Gundam X Mao, man. Yo, Mao, what's going on? He says, and by the way, shout out to Austin for that last tweet. Thank you, sir. Mao says, given that this is a new Voltron show, do you think we're still going to get a pilot swap down the line? I do think so. I think that I think eventually Shiro's going to get disposed of in some way, shape, or form. Maybe not killed, but I don't see him being the leader of the group for for that much longer, and I think that they're going to do the swap where Keith moves to the black line reluctantly, Lance goes towards the red line, and then Princess Allura ends up in the blue line, because that was one of the really cool aspects about Voltron, is that Princess Allura became a pilot, and not that long into the series, and it was something that they planned from the get-go. It wasn't common that you would have a female pilot in many of those shows in many of those animes back in the day. So, and to see that on American TV was really dope. So I would love to see her be a pilot. Maybe her role in the show actually would lend her more to be the strategist and in charge of the ship, like she is. But it wouldn't shock me if that happens. Chris, you think Shiro's going to be around for a while? You think that they'll do a different route with the pilot swap, or you don't think it'll happen at all?
I think it could certainly go the route like that he maybe gets like crippled in action and switches roles and becomes sort of like the leader from the base.
Yeah.
And then she takes on a more active physical role, and you do your swapping that way. Like he just retires from combat and leads from the ship.
That also something I didn't think about. Holy shit, that would be really cool. I guess we'll know soon.
He could get like, pineapple pizza rather than
pineapple pizza.
Yeah, rather than pineapple salad.
There you go. That's the spirit. If anything, any number of things can happen, or maybe it'll still stay the same consignment. I guess we'll find out. But the chat is bringing up another character we haven't really gotten to yet, and that's Zarkon. What do you think of what are your thoughts on what they decided to do with Zarkon in this series?
Well, I really can't tell you because I don't recall
the original series.
The original series, because I haven't watched it since I was like 5 years old.
Yeah,
so,
well, that's all right. I'll definitely I'll go into that then. For the most part, Zarkon in the original series was a heavy, and not much more than that. He just pretty much gave the order for Hagar to make a road beast to take on the Voltron force, and he was just the ultimate bad guy that they would eventually take on. But he sat in the throne most of the time, barking orders. In this guy is a straight up beast, a gladiator type. And then you find out the huge twist towards the end, which I started to have a feeling it was the case, that he was when they had brought up earlier on in the series that for Shiro they didn't have his Bayard at the time. I was wondering where the heck is that, and is that going to come up later on in the series? And sure enough, it does, because you find out who has the Bayard, and it's actually the original pilot of the Black Line, and that was King Zarkon. That's why he wants Voltron, because A, he can actually pilot the Black Line and put the rest of the parts to use, and two, he knows how powerful it is, and he knows that it is the only thing that can stop him, and that makes him an interesting villain. He's more than just the cardboard cutout that he was in the original series. Because I'm sitting here thinking, is he just going to be sitting back chilling, and then we got to wait until Lotor shows up before we get an interesting villain? Nah, this guy's the real deal. When he takes on Keith with just the Bayard, and he's just whipping his ass, it's like
he's just floating in space, and it's like, dude. Well, like when you start to see him remove like the armor and the cloak, and it's like, oh, this guy's about to get real on everybody.
It's like he took off the gloves.
Yep.
Oh my gosh. Shout outs to Fred says Shiro turns evil because of the technology in his arm. He could be a sleeper agent. That's very true. That's what Yazi says. Could be. That's also very good theories right there. But yeah, Zarkon, man, he's definitely one to watch, man. And I wonder what he's gonna do next. But yeah, he's definitely a heavy to keep an eye on. Let's see here. Anything that came to mind for you about the show at all? Any cons or any pros that you wanted to bring up?
The soundtrack is kind of an interesting choice. They went for kind of like this like retro electronic.
Yeah.
For the most part, that kind of calls to mind the 80s. Although the opening theme I find a little underwhelming and generic.
Me too. I thought they were actually going to go back and use the original theme or have some kind of new rendition of it, but instead they went for something new, which is not a bad thing, but it just doesn't really have the presence that the original theme did. So I was hoping something to be on that level. It didn't have to be as good, but for me, I can't even hum the theme in this show, unlike the original. So that already tells me it's not as impressive as as the original theme at all. And the score, I like the fact that it's retro, but it didn't really stand out to me at all. At the end of the day, it just sounded like just sound in the background, and that's it. I was more enthralled with other aspects of the show. But if anything, some of the other cons I have is that I thought the ending was a bit abrupt. The cliffhanger ending. Granted, it's a classic cliffhanger ending when everybody gets separated, and they go through that portal and all sorts of hell breaks loose. But it felt like a part one to a two-part episode that we didn't get to see the second part of. So it kind of annoyed me, but it's not something I'm not used to. So I just need to hold. I just need to hold that, I guess. But any other cons you can think of at all?
I would agree. Like the cliffhanger, it just seems kind of abrupt that it reached this point that they're fighting Zarkon and they almost have the quick getaway, and then poof, now they're all separated. Yeah. The good part that kind of mitigates that is that the second season's going to be coming a lot sooner. Yeah, at the time I was watching the show, I didn't know the second season would come out this year, but now that it's coming out, it doesn't hurt so bad now. Mal says, "Yeah, I think the music for the show is kind of a weak point too." And he says they need to hire someone to write better music for them to help sell their dramatic action moments. Yeah, I don't know if they're using the same composer for the other shows they've worked on. Maybe they are, and maybe they just didn't bring it in this one. But yeah, it didn't really hit me as hard. Andrew Johnson says, "Abrupt is putting it mildly." I'm in kind of a mild mood today, so yeah. But some good aspects of this show, though, is that the animation was fantastic. Whether it be the CG animation, especially in the set pieces for the Robeast battles with Voltron, and how just the ingenuity they used for the battles and how they displayed the action was fantastic. There's a particular scene that I really enjoyed where I believe it's Shiro versus for Sendak. And it was a fight that was outside the castle. I think he was fighting Sendak, or maybe one of Sendak's men. But the way they shot, the way the action was displayed, where they had that kind of a rotating camera angle that was going on during that fight, I thought was fantastic. It was a very you could see it was a scene that they really worked on, and probably spent a lot of money on doing it when they were showing the fights. And a lot of the hand-to-hand fights in this show are very impressive, I gotta say. It's the animation is definitely solid. It's not perfect. There's some rough spots here and there, but it's a solid effort. Absolutely. But go ahead. Another comment unrelated to any of what we said, but hey, perfect example of a company that can release a chopped up anime in the 80s, but later on not block the release of the original version, and is successful at making more modern spin-offs. So hey, that's a thing. That's the thing, man. Yo, Harmony Gold could take notes. Yo, props to World Events, man. They know how to do it. World Events, they're pretty cool company. If anything, they're what Harmony Gold should have been. Instead, we are at where we're at with that crap, man. Yep. Instead, we're at Love Live Alive. That's where we're at. Oh Lord. and Robotech Academy, the True Vision that Carl sketched down on a napkin when he was at Wendy's one day. Wow. If that's what they're banking their future on, they need to stop. They really need to. But some questions about the next season coming up, man. Some questions I'll just throw out there to the chat. What caused Zarkon to break bad? Who is the mysterious alien in Zarkon's army that aids the Paladins in the final ep? I was wondering, maybe that's Lotor. Maybe Lotor won't be a part of this. There's an ongoing theory that Yazi made me keen to, by the way. Shout out to Yazi. Apparently in the show, they allude that there might be something hidden about Keith's past, and that maybe he is actually a sleeper agent or something like that. Something having to do with yellow goo or something like that. Do you recall that at all? Yeah, the yellow goo from the quintessence. Yes, that's right. That got on him and that healed his hand. Mm-hmm. And that might have an effect later on. One of those mage people.
Yeah, and that's the case. That may actually plant a seed for a later event. So that's actually a pretty interesting thing. It makes me wonder what will happen to him. Where's Lothar, and will he appear in future episodes? Will Shiro die, leaving a void in the team and rearranging the Paladins? Where are Pidge's brother and father? And will the team stay separated for long? Or how many episodes in season 2 will it take for them to reunite? I'm guessing 3. Or maybe in the first episode, who knows? But
one thing I wonder watching this show, and it's gonna be another question for the chat, is would a show like this be reverse adapted into Japanese as like Shin Go Lion or something? Like, how much staying power did Go Lion have in Japan? And would anyone even care about this show, or would it just be like, oh, here's a random American super robot show?
I think next to none. I think this show had no Go Line had no presence in Japan, save for maybe a few.
Probably about the same as Southern Cross, like a show that had much more staying power in America than in its native home.
Yeah, exactly. It just happened to come over here. The reason why it even got an extension to the series was because the original season of the show came to the States, was successful, and they made more episodes of the original show for American audiences. So that was like the first time I ever saw that. But then again, that was way back when.
You mean like the Sentinels? Oh, wait. No.
Oh, damn. Yo, the shots being fired today.
There's never a bad time to fire shots at Harmony Gold.
Yeah, you know what? All the shots.
All those shots are deserved.
I'm reloading right now.
And if this were Orange is the New Black and we were inside Litchfield, I would say that they deserve all the shots.
All the shots. Yo, pipes. But yeah, at the end of the day, I really appreciated this series, man. I am thrilled at what they were able to do with the repackaging of Voltron for the most part, because we've seen it be rebooted numerous times, as you mentioned, and those other times weren't really successful. But now, when I heard this got announced for Netflix, it's like, oh, that's pretty cool. I wonder where they're going to go with this. And then when the trailer dropped, it's like, wow, that looks amazing. Even before that, they started showing like screenshots of what the characters look like and what Voltron looked like, and it's like, wow, that's interesting. I mean, the characters look like they're straight out of Avatar, so that's not too bad. And then when I saw the first trailer, it's like, man, I like the cut of the show's jib, and we finally got to watch the 11 episodes, and I got to say, I was thoroughly satisfied, man. I look at this as if they took the Transformers Prime approach, where they took the material further, updating the series for modern taste, even embracing the corniness but adapting it sensibly. So. For the most part, if anything, it's thrilled me, and I can't wait to see the next season, man. What are your last thoughts about the show?
Pretty much the same. I came into it with a sort of blank slate and enjoyed it greatly. So I will be watching season 2 as soon as it's available for streaming.
Excellent, man. Maybe one of these days we'll see this rendition of Voltron in Super Robot Wars. I won't hold my breath. But I'll rate the show, and I will give it a rating of 4.5 bowls of Altian Jello. And what's your rating, sir? For this season, anyway.
I will give it 4 crazed food dispenser nozzles out of 5.
There you go. Yo, that I'm sure Hunk still has nightmares of that. But all right, we're going to jump into our next review, which is Gundam The Origin OVA 3, Dawn of Rebellion. And Chris, I'm going to let you go ahead and just sum up the start of how this starts up, and then we'll get into it. Go for it, sir.
Okay. Well, I'm not going to spend too much, or rather really any time discussing the plot, because we've already talked about it in Origin, the manga. So
ad nauseum.
This is sort of the part that I would call the birth of Char Aznable.
Mm-hmm.
Because it starts with the demise of the real Char at the hands of Casval, and just showing what a dick he is by doing the old switcheroo and letting Char get on that shuttle as Casval.
Oh yeah, it's freaking just to see it animated and to see that whole cruiser just blow up. It just really disturbed me to no end, and then all of a sudden Katsuya's face coming out of nowhere. the transitions.
even though Char has killed people before this point, you could kind of say, well, even though Casval has killed people before this point, you could say that Char Aznable was the first actual victim of his ambition.
Yeah, he was definitely the blood, the first blood that he spilled in order to get where he's going. And yeah, and it sucks because Char was actually a real nice guy, man, and you liked him. He was kind of I don't know how he would have made it in the Zeon.
He would have been crushed. He would have died anyway. So
he'd have been destroyed. He'd have been just another scrub.
that kid would not have survived the 1 week battle.
Yeah. He'd have been effed at Loom.
Yeah, so he was destined to die, but obviously ended up going sooner than expected. So a lot of the rest of the story is the continuing development of the tit-for-tat Cold War between the Federation and Zeon. It's Garma's and Char's time at the Academy, and of course Char, moving in and manipulating things, and Garma being completely oblivious. And of course, when you've watched the show or read Origin, the manga, just from the context that obviously Char is not sincere, that this is all manipulation, this is all to get close to Garma, that he will have, used to great effect in the TV show later on once he starts springing his plan for revenge. So it just shows that Garma, the deck was stacked against him from the onset.
Yeah, and they so hard, their hard body foreshadow Char killing Garma so many times in this. Like the moment where he pulls out the knife and then he starts cutting he's brandishing it like he's about to stab the guy, and then he starts to make a little tent for him and all that stuff. And just the moments where he's tempted to just take this dude out because his rage against Zeon is just so strong. But the moment where he puts the blanket on top of him, I don't know whether he was disgusted at himself. Or if he was actually starting to get attached to Garma. I don't know. With Char, you can never tell because he gives you this. He gives the stink eye like nobody's business.
I think to a certain extent he likes Garma a bit. Otherwise, he wouldn't have said at the end of the TV series and the movies when he's talking to Cassilia about how killing Garma left him empty.
Yeah.
It did not give him the satisfaction of revenge that he wanted. So, I'm thinking that's like just the slightest hint of remorse he's showing about what he did.
Absolutely. It's his consciousness is actually creeping up on him all of a sudden. But yeah, I just to see how those two got attached. But one of the biggest things that in this OVA is that they made a major change. Although I didn't notice it at first, but then someone brought it to my attention. Remember in the OVA, the original manga, there was a character called Murata, who was Char's roommate in that, yeah. And then he got reassigned just like in the OVA, but they changed it to a character called Lino Fernandez, and they kind of just replaced him with this character. And do you recall that if Murata was in it all that much besides making Char the mask and that's it?
I really can't remember because I've only read through Vertical's Origin once, so I haven't touched that corresponding volume since whenever we reviewed it.
Exactly. I'm actually reading through it again now, and I'm only on book 2, and it's like, damn, I wish I was caught up to this point just to see exactly the differences. But according to Austin here on Twitter, he had brought it to my attention, actually. He says, in Gundam Origin Volume 3, they replaced Murata, who is Char's roommate in the manga, with Lino. What's the point of that change? I guess maybe they just wanted to flesh his character out, and they decided to change the character completely, maybe give him a new name. And I think it was effective because that's victim number 2 of
it shows how ruthless Char is, that this guy's like, hey, I found out your secret, but I'm totally cool with it, man, and I'm with you, bro. It's like, no, you don't do, you just expose yourself as a liability to be killed, and that's precisely what happens when Char sets him up to die with the wrong radio communication frequency and having him pilot the Fed tank.
Yeah, the line, that cold ass shit at the end when after he was killed, he said, "My name is Char Aznable." Oh my God, it's just it goes to show how gangster he is, man. Whether it's go ahead.
Yeah, I think that having it be Lino and what Char does, it just further solidifies that he's on this path and that he's not gonna turn away from it. And this is the point where he becomes the man that we see in the TV series.
Yeah, absolutely. And it doesn't matter if you're friend or foe. If you're a liability to Char, you're gone.
Yeah,
absolutely gone. He will dispose of you fast because he can't. At that point in time, he couldn't afford to be exposed. If you saw what they already went through at the airport, the spaceport to try to kill him, they took out all those numerous people inside that space cruiser. Yeah, and they don't give a damn. They'll do whatever it takes to kill this guy off. And the fact that he's in the bosom of Zeon right now, yeah, he couldn't. Sorry, Lino, man. You as much as I liked you and as much as you were a likable dude, you approached this man a little too early.
It's basically like, hey, Mr. Serial Killer guy,
Mm-hmm.
I know you killed all those people, but I think it's cool, and I'm totally not going to tell the cops or anything, so you can trust me. Like,
oh boy.
Okay, or maybe I just kill you too.
Yeah, absolutely. And speak of the collateral damage, he not only he took out Lino and the real Char, but those when he talked Garmin into taking out the Federation soldiers, which of course is also true to the manga as well. Just the fact that he just was gung ho about it, and it's like, look, we got to do this in order to get a leg up. He's kind of one of the instigating factors of why the 1 Year War even began. Now that you look back on it, it's like, wow, I didn't realize Char had that much of a hand in this. I thought he was a part of the war machine that just happened to stand out above the rest. But
well, I think we know how that really turned out.
Yeah,
that he did not have that big of a part to play in the outset, and that this is just some convenient retconning.
Yeah, absolutely. Which can be the problem with Gundam The Origin sometimes, like they overstate some people's importance. But but I mean, it's Char, so I'll let it slide. But yeah, man, I do dig the fact that in this they also explain why Char needs a visor in the first place to block the space rays that could cause him to go blind, which is why he ends up with that mask in the first place. So that's pretty cool retconning. It's not just a stylistic choice. They actually go into a little bit of detail about that in this too. Some other notable... Go ahead.
I thought that scene where they're having the review and the Fed officer is shitting on Char, like, oh, what are you, blah, 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 and just berating him. Was that not very similar to the scene in the TV series when they get to Jaburo and this officer announces that Ryu's getting a posthumous promotion, and Amuro just goes totally off on him? And it's like, oh, how dare you disrespect me? How dare you dodge my slap? Like the two scenes of them rebelling against Federation authority, I thought it was interesting how similar they were. Yeah,
and that's the thing about Amuro and Char. They're very similar, and if it was under different circumstances, they probably could have been cool. But that's how war is, man. Brother against brother, man. These two guys, ironically, will end up having Sayla in common. But at the same time, and those two could have probably been thick as thieves if they met under different circumstances. And it's funny because Zeta kind of alludes to that for a minute. But then we know that shit goes south real quick. But I do like the parallels between them.
Go ahead.
Oh yeah. Oh no. I was just gonna say some other things of note that happen in this is that we get to see Doza meet Zenomiya for the first time. Who ends up being his wife in the future, and the mother of Audrey Byrne, who we know from Zeta and Double Zeta, and later on in Gundam Unicorn. Yeah. So there you go. If you guys are watching Unicorn and you never watched anything with a Mobile Suit Gundam, if you want to see her parents meet, this is the episode to check that out. That scene where the Federation cruiser kind of causes the accident, or I say directly causes the accident that takes out the agriculture block. I totally forgot that was in the manga. I think that was in the manga. Stream, let me know. But that kind of also starts off the insurrection over in Side 3 and messing things up. But the way the scene was directed, I thought was pretty nice. Just the way it was just executed. Although it's just a few minutes. But no Ramba Raw or TriStars in this episode. completely just off doing their own thing, I guess.
Oh, we'll see them next time.
We will. Speaking of them, they're off testing mobile suits right now, and one of the moments I really dug was the twinkle in Char's eye when he saw the mobile worker for the first time.
Yeah.
It was like it was meant to be. They're out there doing their planetes thing, collecting garbage and trash. And next thing you know, Char sees a mobile worker and is like, "Oh yeah, my brother's field testing these." That's what Garma tells him, and it's like, "Oh, I know exactly what this guy's gonna do for me now. I need to get one of these mobile suits that they're working on." So it's gonna be cool to see Char when he starts to pilot those for the first time, and we finally get to see the Battle of Loom, hopefully in the next episode. But anything else of note about this episode, or anything that comes to mind about OVA 3, man? Any cons? Any pros?
I think that's the most enjoyable of the 3 episodes so far.
It's my favorite one of the 3 as well, man. I gotta say. Bright says there was one TriStar. Really? Oh shit. Wait, is that the one that that must have been one of the mobile suits we saw then? But that's what's up. I didn't realize that. I completely.
Wouldn't that be a Lone Star?
I guess so. He decided to go solo. It's probably Gaia, and I totally missed him. But we do have a few tweets here, both from Yazi. And shout outs to Austin for the last tweet. Yazi here says, what does it say about Char, whose Neo Zeon had the least infighting compared to the first and Sleeve's Neo Zeon movements? I think Char was he's very admired at that point in time. Unlike there was a lot of infighting even when the Zombies ran it, because they were always suspected of killing off Zeon Zumdaikun. So as you could see in this episode with Lino, it's no secret that they probably poisoned Zeon. So some people didn't even like the Zombies, even though they were running things. So with Char, I think it was admired quite a bit because of the 1 Year War and his involvement with Esquatro Regina with AUG, and then eventually going into Neo Zeon and whatnot. I think a lot of people did dig him. What are your thoughts about that, Chris?
Well, he's so charismatic that I think he probably inspires his followers a lot more than, Haman or Full Frontal did.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because if you look at Full Frontal, like, the only person who just hangs on his every word is Angelo. Everybody else is kind of like, they're just there because they're Zeon, and that's what they do.
Yeah, pretty much.
They just fight the Federation and lose.
That's pretty much sums it up right there. Thank you, Yazi. Also, another tweet from Yazi. It says, "This is Origin manga related. Do you think that Cassilia screwed Zeon over in the final battle compared to MSG anime? In the final battle,
with the whole rebellion thing happening in the midst of losing the war."
Yeah, I think the infighting pretty much screwed everybody, and it's not just her, but it was everybody in the Zeon family. Like, the only person who was willing to get along with all of them was Dozel. Dozel was like the easygoing one, and he would pretty much do everything that he was told, and Garma would too. But between Cassilia and Girin, those two pretty much screwed everything over for them during the 1 Year War, as far as I'm concerned, and the final battle.
Yeah.
And there you go. Yazi, man, thank you for the tweets. Much appreciated. And let's see here. The chat's saying, in the manga, the asteroid hits the agriculture block, but in the OVA, a Fed ship crashes into it. Really? Holy shit. I really need to go back and read it. Man, it's been too long. Yo, Austin.
Never a bad reason to read The Origin.
Exactly. Man, yeah, the next time one of these OVAs comes out, I'll tell you what, guys. I will go back and read that exact section of the manga, and I'll take a note of all the differences so that when we do this again.
That's December, so
boy.
everyone will hold you to that now.
Now I gotta...
committed to it.
Now I just screwed myself. Yes. So you got time to be put on blast, y'all.
All heard it here, folks. Solbro screwed himself over yet again.
No, I'll do it. It's nothing too hard. Remind me, guys, please, because I may forget. But I will do my best to not only watch the OVA, but read that section of the manga again, so that way I can note any kind of significant differences between the two. And guys, thank you for tuning in for this review of Gundam The Origin. Overall, I thought it was a pretty awesome episode. What about the stinger at the end with Amuro and Temray, man?
Just typical Origin stuff. Not too much, but just enough, little nudge, wink, wink, that it's something that you enjoy without overstaying its welcome.
It's cool to see Side 7 look so I guess just unfinished. It was always unfinished, but Jesus Christ, they didn't even put down the sod yet.
Yeah.
That place is dusty as hell.
It's like, who built this place, Lennar?
Yeah. Oh my God, it's a whole new development. Yo, Space Suburbia, what's up, man? But yeah, I thought that scene was pretty nice. I liked just the way the one shot I really dug was when Amuro was going through customs and they had that little scanner on him. And it showed like his name and all that stuff, and he was introducing himself to he was just saying his name for the custom people, and seeing Haro and just getting a little bit of Amuro, because I know there's very little that we're gonna get of him in this. Do we know? Because I watched the preview for episode 4 a while ago, but is this gonna be the final one for episode 4? Is that the last one they're gonna do?
What? Where they're ending the story?
Oh yeah, for the Origin OVAs, yeah.
Well, I guess you missed the news a while ago that they're going to be expanding and doing Loom.
Oh, shit. Oh, wow, that's amazing. Well, then. Then.
Plus, of course, we have the totally useless Kukurus Doan's MSV manga, because sure, why not?
Are you serious? Wow.
Yes.
I don't know what to say.
Don't say anything then.
You know what? I'm speechless.
But yes, we're getting Loom, so I don't know if it's going to be as episode 5 of Origin, or if this is going to have like a new subtitle or whatever. But after that, I don't know how much they would want to cover of the rest of the 1 year work, because it's mainly months of stalemate after stalemate until Side 7. So we'll see what happens with that. But episode 4 is out in December, and 5, or whatever this next one is, presumably sometime next year.
Man. Yo, Mosquito Valentine says, Kuroku's Doan is the hero we deserve. Yo, you should pick him in Extreme Versus. That guy's fast and he throws rocks like nobody's business. Rock's so OP. But all right, well, yeah, that was OVA Volume 3 for Gundam The Origin. Another fun entry. I definitely enjoyed this, probably the most of all 3, as Chris mentioned too. And what would you rate this OVA?
I'm gonna rate this 4 overzealous sycophants out of 5.
Sweet. My rating for it is also 4 indirect murders by Char out of 5.
All right.
So many murders.
So, moving on, given that we've been running a bit long and I'm fading away, we're going to be wrapping up now.
Absolutely.
And not doing the mailbag, which we will have next time. So, thank you again to the listeners who have been coming out these last few episodes and participating in the live stream and chat. We appreciate that you're taking time out of your day to come listen to us rant about robots.
Absolutely. And if you guys missed it before, many thanks to Fred Rex for being on earlier. Make sure to follow him on Twitter at FredRex00. He helped us out with the news earlier. And in this episode of Gundam and MAHQ, if you're just tuning in, we reviewed both Voltron, Legendary Defenders Season 1, and Gundam The Origin OVA Volume 3. So if you guys missed any of that, or if you didn't want any of it spoiled for you, run that back whenever you have time. And any announcements you wanted to make before we close things out, sir?
No. Why don't you tell people some websites they can visit?
Absolutely, man. MAHQ.net. That's where the magic happens. The Mecha and Anime headquarters. Chris, did you review OVA episode 3 already on the website?
I did not, and I'm also behind on Delta. So.
Well, all right. Well, when Chris reviews it, make sure you go there and read those reviews. Over at
those awful reviews.
Awful, yo. They come with M's recommendation. And it's the greatest recommendation one could ever give. But
it's the 4chan seal of approval. It's right there on the site.
Yes, indeed, man. Freaking every satisfied customers, all of them. But visit the mechatalk.net forums as well. That's the official forum for MHQ.net. Don't miss out. Also, make sure to check out Chaos Theater on iTunes. That's the other podcast that MHQ produces, hosted by Chris and Pedro, where they talk about all sorts of genre stuff, man. Comic books, TV shows, movies. When are you guys doing Star Trek?
Not for a while, because we're going to be changing up our schedule a bit, but we just did Uncharted 4, so watch for that.
Uncharted 4 is on the way. Make sure to peep the show. You can subscribe to it on iTunes. Just search for it by typing in Chaos Theater or MAHQ. Also go to chaostheater.blogspot.com if you guys want to check out the previous archive of episodes as well.
And we're also on Google Play if you want to subscribe to us there too.
Google Play, guys. Make sure to tune in over there. Also, Gundam at MAHQ. Our website is gundammmahq.blogspot.com. Also, make sure to subscribe to us here on youtube.com/GundamMAHQ if you haven't already. We do episodes every 2 weeks. And we're on iTunes. Just search for Gundam. Find us on Facebook. Just search for Facebook/groups. Facebook.com/group/MHQ1. We're on Twitter at MHQ.net. You can go there and follow Chris there. Gundam at MHQ and CTcast. And other than that, our next episode, we're doing Thunderbolt, right? Finally,
sure, why not?
Thunderbolt it is, because I already made the graphic. Episode 179. We'll be back in 2 weeks on the 11th, the tentative date. Times are subject to change depending on what happens, but Thursday, the 11th of August at 9:30 p.m. Eastern Daylight Savings Time. Make sure to tune into youtube.com/GundamMAHQ/live and use the hashtag GundamLive179 if you want to add any comments about Thunderbolt. We're going to be reviewing the anime and the manga as well. So if you guys don't miss out on that. Other than that, man, that's all from me, man. Anything else you wanted to mention before we go?
No, everybody go home and that's it.
Everybody get out.
Get the fuck out. Party's over.
Yo, Yazi said, such a shocking...
Don't drink any of the beer.
Yo, Yazi with his points, he says, such a shocking announcement. Hey, yo. And Berserker says, LOL fucking Yazi. Last but not least, Mal says, Thunderbolt, shall I get the M hate started now? By all means, go ahead and stir the stick for us.
You start getting the razor blades and the heroin ready.
Yes, by all means, guys, we need to
for all that edge, because you're gonna cut yourself on the edge of the edges.
We're gonna prepare for Armageddon, guys. I can't wait. But that's it for us, man. Thanks for tuning in to Gundam at MAHQ live episode 178. For myself, Sober Ryu, and for Chris Guanche, thanks for tuning in. We're out of here, man. We'll see you later. Peace.
So, it's been a lot of fun, but, well, I guess that's all!
Hmm. これぞトヨタとジオニック社の技術の融合。私を導いてくれ、オーリス。ジオニックトヨタ。
A very stylish girl. How do I look?
Check the technique. Check the technique. Check the technique.
I've waited an eternity for this. It's over, Prime.